Season 8 is now 1 week old, and today we'll take a look at the top S tier builds that actually dominate the season and update our tier list ranking here. So this is the tier list here that we posted on the 28th of April, and there are like 1-2 movements in S tier and actually some surprises. So let's take a look at the top builds here. So unfortunately, guys, coming in the last place, the weakest class as of right now, but still some potential, is the Spiritborn. There's been a few bugs with the Spiritborn where it was not proccing the unyielding hits with the Zerg rune and some other stuff. However, there are still some viable builds here on the Spiritborn. This is the Evade build here, played by Dronix, actually dominating in an 82. This is the Firestorm build that I was talking about a lot. And this is a pretty cool farming build, and you can push up to 82. It's a pretty comfortable T4 if you have good gear. However, some of the bugs make this like not as strong as anticipated, but still 82 puts it still like very, very solid. Next, we have a kind of a new build, but also playing with the Ashava Plower. This is the Rushing Claw Spiritborn here. That is actually rocking a pit 94, believe it or not. We'll show you the rankings here, the final rankings in a bit. So this is also looking very good. The Ashava Power is a bit weaker than expected. And also this is also losing some damage from the bug that we explained in many videos already, where it not proccing the unyielding hits properly. But still, this is a very fast-paced build. And this is, you see this poison proc here all the time. Is not playing Quill Volley, but is still playing this like Poison Ashava, this like Poison Breath that you see here, him proccing all the time here. And the DPS and playstyle is actually super fast paced. You can see here him absolutely destroying a 94. So this definitely is going to make it into A tier here with the Rushing Claw Ashava Power for the Spiritborn. And then at the moment, the top build for the Spiritborn, blasting down a 96 here, is the Quill Volley. This one right now is not playing with Ashava. This is just the good old Quill Volley build, basically like dealing actual damage with the Quill Volley. And you can see him here destroying a pit 96. So unfortunately, guys, I was excited about the Spiritborn with this season release, but there's been some bugs, and also like the expectation was maybe a bit higher, because I thought the Spiritborn had even more potential. However, they're still going to be pushing like very solidly here into the pit 100, and that is like all that we wanted to do on the Spiritborn. However, for like a more casual player, it feels kind of tough to get the Spiritborn going in Torment 4, and I really hope long term they're going to address some of the under-yielding bugs and some of the class balance here from the Spiritborn. However, there's still a couple of cool builds here that you can play. So Quill Volley, Eating Good, and this is definitely a very solid A tier build. It's definitely going to be beating Pit 100 here in the next couple days. That's my expectation, at least. So unfortunately, guys, last rank here, Spiritborn. Again, many cool builds to play, but nothing really quite as strong as the other classes. So unfortunately, moving a bit down here. Next here, we have our Barbarian. And this is the first S tier Barbarian build here. This is the Mighty Throw Barbarian here, played by Beat Dropper, actually rocking the Mighty Throw. I've made many videos about this. This is like the one-shot Mighty Throw. Obviously, he's not quite one-shotting anymore on this Pit 103, but the DPS is so high, like he'd definitely be, one-shotting all the T4 bosses with this. You can see him here hitting for billions of damage here, 25 billion. Like, and then there's lots and lots of numbers, and he's basically just using weapon throw with like a bunch of more skills to trigger even more damage bonuses for the weapon throw. So you see him here just weapon throwing, basically completely blasting this. So definitely S tier for the Mighty Throw Barb here, going pretty strong, but again, not the coolest playstyle. And then one surprise, there's currently a bug on the Barbarian where your Earthquake can benefit from the pet multipliers if your Earthquake is spawned by your Ancient. And good news for all the Spin to Win enjoyers, this Barbarian actually has Whirlwind on the skill bar. However, Whirlwind, of course, is not dealing any damage. The Whirlwind is just there to proc the Wandering Death power here, the boss power, that gives you a 1.5x multiplier. And again, he's using this like various pet multipliers plus the new Beastfall boss powers to make the Earthquakes into like basically considered as a pet and scaling with all your pet multipliers. So Blizzard has not really done anything about this, and this is like basically like the only way you can really play this in a high tier. However, with these pet multipliers enabled for the Earthquake, you can see him here hitting for 122 billion here on the right side per Earthquake tick from those pets. So your Ancients, basically you want to re-summon the Ancients all the time, and those Earthquakes that get summoned from those Ancients are considered pets. Like the Earthquake is your pet, I guess. And yeah, they're still doing a lot of damage. They're 180 billion we saw there. So big ticks here, going pretty strong. And surprisingly, this has already overtaken the Mighty Throw. I think there's still going to be quite a battle if the pet Quake Barb or the one-shot Barb is going to be the best. But they're definitely going to land both in A tier due to this, I would assume, unintended mechanic. But again, Earthquake have all the pet multipliers. So Barb is eating pretty good, but still second weakest class of the season with the Barbarian here. Next, we have the Druid doing Cataclysm and Druid things. Also doing 106, but there's way more high clears on the Druid than there is on Barb. So I believe ultimately the Druid will pull a bit ahead. However, you do have to snapshot. Again, like I said, this is the Cataclysm Druid. We also put this in S tier before, and this still remains in S tier. So this one is pretty crazy, and yeah, basically just Cataclysm. There's also like a cool version where you can also play like with your Wandering Death and Stonebust. However, this is just basically like same old Cataclysm build, and the Druid rocks. There's also potential to do a support Druid, and we did actually pit 117, believe it or not. This was like done with a support Druid. So that's also possible, like if you like to play a Druid and maybe you want to, you know, blast together with some friends here. This is like us. I have a video on this. Like we were taking down pit 117 with a supporter Druid. However, the damage is coming, you know, from the strongest class in the game that we'll get into in a little bit. So just to mention that, that's also possible here. And Cataclysm Druid is going strong like expected. Then next here we have the Death Trap Rogue. And this is a build that is very fun to play. I would even say it's the most fun to play build in the entire season. I also made a build guide, and I also made a rogue after the chat wanted me to do, and this was, we put this in the S tier before, and this is definitely the only S tier build on the rogue, doing a pit 109 here, incredible clear. He's actually hitting up for hundreds of billions of damage here, playing the close quarter instead of momentum passive for an extra multiplier in the ultra high pits. However, for like speed farming and just fun, I recommend momentum. It's like easy to set up and you don't have this crazy energy requirements. So you see here like 200 billion hits. He's rocking 108, and this is a super cool, super fun build. He basically has insane cooldown reduction. Like all his skills on the bar can be spammed like there's no tomorrow. So he just spams everything like blast, 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 and takes down 109 here. All the links, guys, gonna be in the description because some of these videos are unlisted, and thankfully we have community website here, helltides.com, which I'm also gonna be linking below, that is sharing all these amazing clears. Ever had lag issues in games like Diablo 4? New season, but same old lag, not anymore with exit lag. Say goodbye to connection rage. Exit lag is here to upgrade your gameplay needs, boosting your experience to the max with real-time optimized routes and stable ping. From casual to competitive, exit lag has your back every step of the way. And I have a special offer for you. Play 3 days lag-free now with exit lag on, with the link in the description and on screen here. I was able to get my ping down from about 50 to 60 ms to just 19, as you can see here. Simply add a game like I did here, Diablo 4. You just search the game, click add, and it's going to optimize the connection. It's perfect for a fast-paced build here. Like I've been playing the rogue a lot recently, and obviously there's a lot of reaction time and a lot of skills here that depend a lot on the latency and the ping. And Exit Lag has amazing AI, route optimizer, dynamic stabilizer. They have 1,000 servers all over the world. So stop losing XP and leveling speed and try Exit Lag now for free. Next up here, we actually have a Necromancer. This is also what we put in S tier. This is the Bone Spear Necromancer. And the Necromancer has a big battle going on between the Blood Wave, which is the next ranking, and the Bone Spear. Both of them overpower. Both of them are insane. Look at all these overpower procs here. It's basically like this guy, I don't even know how he can play. Like, you can't even see anything because he just overpowers so much. And he actually has incredible boss DPS. He just takes down the boss in like 2 minutes, like going absolutely crazy with these like splinters and echoes that basically go from the Deathless Visage and basically snipe down the boss here with like a sheer endless amount of overpower procs. As long as the enemy is caught up in your Bone Prism, it's gonna overpower. And yeah, this looks tremendously powerful. Completely bursting down the boss on 108. This is like a 2-minute boss kill in 108. It's incredibly fast. Most other classes need like 5 minutes plus for the boss kill. So I think there is still a lot of potential here for the Blood Spear to go higher. So as predicted, guys, this is also in S tier. And then another prediction that came true here, of course, this is the Blood Wave Necromancer. This has been dominating last season. It's the old meta and it's also the new meta here. Hitting for up to trillions of damage almost here, also in 109. I've seen trillion hits on this, so pretty strong. You also can move all the targets all the time here. You can see like when he's actually having the damage reduction there, 500 billion there, 600 billion, 1.3. That was 1.3 trillion, like 1,000 billion, of course. Hitting extremely strong. Boom there, 1.3 billion damage in the face. And this is like on every tick of those blood waves. And there are a lot of them. Plus they have the pulling potential. So this one also going to go 110 plus. S tier for sure. This guy has a weird mouse, but he's blasting on the Necro. So Necromancer, 2 S tier builds going insanely strong. And then, of course, we have the strongest build here, played by Mekuna, hitting for up to 100 trillion damage, is the Lightning Spear Sorcerer. And this build, I made a video about it, is surprisingly, I mean, we knew it was in S tier, but it is so strong with some of those boss powers because they're like multi-dipping with the Familiar, Incinerate's Flames. They have the Beast Fall with up to double damage. They have 2.5 times damage with Beast Fall. And they also have a new Primal Binding gloves here that give them another 5x damage when you masterwork them. And this is going so crazy that Mekuna was actually able to hit when we were playing together here, when I was rocking the Druid. He was actually able to hit for up to 900 trillion damage with a single Lightning Spear cast, leaving all the other classes in the dust here with 115 clear. And this might just as well look like a speedrun until the boss. So he clears 115. And keep in mind, guys, the pit scaling now is crazy. You need like triple damage to go up like 5 pit tiers. And the Sorcerer is beating the 115 here in 3 minutes. But then, of course, it's the age-old Sorcerer's problem. Yeah, you're fighting a boss. And the boss might as well be a raid boss, even though you're still hitting for like trillions, but this boss has like thousands and thousands of trillions of health. So, yeah, I don't think any class is going to come anywhere close to the Sorcerer unless there is going to be like another bug. Blizzard has been reacting swiftly, though. They have a new policy from Blizzard that if there's a build that is like clearly bugged or does infinite damage, that they nerf it during the season. So that's really cool to see. I would just love to, this to apply to weak builds as well. If you can see that maybe the Spiritborn or the Barbarian is a bit more on the weaker side, it would also be cool to see some of the buffs to the underperforming builds, like the Pure Whirlwind, for example, is very outdated. There's some like negative bugs that affect the Spiritborn. So there's definitely quite some stuff here that impacted quite negatively. But yeah, Sorcerer is eating insanely good. And we mostly watched here at the S tier. So again, here, very top is Lightning Spear, just to summarize. And then the 2 Necro builds, insanely strong. Deathtrap Rogue, probably the most fun build in the game, guys. If you, I don't know, started on Spiritborn like me and you are like a bit struggling, first of all, I'm sorry. I told you like it was a bit of a wild card. The Spiritborn had a lot of potential, but a lot of things turned out to be not working properly, bugged, or like also the boss powers got nerfed even crazier than expected. So the Spiritborn got moved down, but the Deathtrap Rogue is a pure fun house, and you can do up to pit 110 with this. And I think all of these builds in S tier right now, and I put the ranking here, pit 110. I put it before. I put it like whenever I made the video first a week ago, I was comfortable that all these builds can clear pit 110. The only surprise here again is the Petquake that got moved up and replaced the Ashava Spiritborn, because Ashava, there's a bug and there's also like very bad scaling now. However, the Ashava, I think it's going to do like 100 plus for sure as well, but not 110. While the Petquake Barb is kind of new here with the bugged Earthquake scaling. I think if you don't abuse the pet mechanics, like you are like somewhere in B tier here, like with the normal like Earthquake Barb, like no pets. And then the pure Whirlwind Barb, also like big disappointment. Like I don't even know, like it's like barely making it into B tier. So there's only basically this one change. The Spiritborn has been moved to S, from S to A tier, and the Petquake has moved up. It's not all like fully represented here yet. Like this Petquake now is moving to S tier. And we basically end up with having the same builds in S tier right now than I had predicted. So Bloodwave check, Bone Spear check, Cataclysm check, Mighty Throw check, Lightning Spear, actually the strongest build, check, Deathcrab check. The only thing that moved down is the Quill Volley. And then a new build, the Petquake, basically made it into with this sneaky mechanic where your Earthquakes are scaling with the pet multiplier. So that's pretty crazy. And in A tier, like I didn't really update everything here, but like the Blizzard Sorcerer is still doing pretty cool. Like if you don't like Lightning Spear, this is probably still your second best option. It's probably going to go even higher. Like there's like a solid 90 clear here, you know, just like from a normal Sorcerer build, not like some crazy Lightning Spear madness. So if you want to play some cold build, that's pretty cool. I think the Ice Shot build is also performing well. It can also probably clear up to in the 90s. So there's some pretty cool alternatives as well. And that's pretty much the tier list for now, guys. I will keep you guys updated. I'm also going to link all the clears in the description. And also here, this leaderboard, helltide.com is great. It's a community fan favorite leaderboard. And you can see all the clears from all the amazing creators and people here that share their video. Obviously, this is not a complete leaderboard, you know. It also doesn't show like the group stuff. This is just a solo leaderboard, community made. There might be some crazier clears in China. However, most of the clears, I believe, are here. And then also, guys, in a couple of hours today, we will get the Berserk Transmog drop. There's going to be a ton of stuff with the Berserk event here, ton of stuff that you can get, ton of stuff to do. We also have Twitch drops for those Berserk drops, and I'm looking forward to do finally a Barbarian today. I started with Spiritborn. Now I'm rocking Rogue. I did a little bit of Druid, so we're eating good, and it's a ton of fun. I had a blast on the Rogue. So the season, I liked it a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of the Apparition Incursions. However, the boss powers feel fantastic, and some of the new builds, like if you are bored with your current starter class, I really encourage you to try out the Death Trap Rogue. It's a ton of fun. One of the coolest builds I think I've ever played on the Rogue. So that's pretty cool, and you can slay demons with style. And then we get the Guts Berserk Black Swordsman Transmog here in a few hours today. And there's also some cool stuff for the Rogue, like this one here. There's some cool stuff for the Necromancer. Unfortunately, Spiritborn doesn't get anything, and some other classes also don't get stuff, but man, that Necromancer, and dang that Rogue, and then obviously the winner, the big winner here, the Barbarian here, getting the Guts Black Swordsman armor. So looking forward to it. There's also like a full blog post here from Blizzard, and they haven't really shared a time. I would say it starts at like 5 or 7 p.m. So probably in a couple hours from you guys watching this video, like evening Europe time, and I would say noon US time, and then we become the Black Swordsman. And my barb is level 1 right now. Spin and win, I hope. But yeah, we're gonna level this guy, and we'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoyed this update, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. I think the S tier classes, like you can have a lot of fun on many of them. I would just love to see, you know, some buffs to some of the weaker builds down here and get some more S tier stuff. But we basically started with 7 S tier builds. We ended up with 7 and only swapped 1 out. You can't have them all right, but we're doing our best, guys. It's always just the best guess because we've never played the final patch. And we'll see how it's going to go next time. And Season 7 was a big one as well. There was only 3 S tier builds. We had them all in there. And we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep updating the stuff and the tier list. The sheet here is also below. And then we'll see what the A and B tier will do here long term as well. But S tier is what most people care about. Hope you enjoyed, my friends. The tier lists are all here. And I will see you soon. Take it easy, my friends. GG. If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.